All right, so Jason Cummings here. I'm reading the book There by Tommy Orange. And towards the beginning of the book, the author introduces this boy named Tony Loneman. And I found some really cool, fresh, beautiful lines pretty early on, page 16. So I would like to read it and just share some of my thoughts. So here we go, this paragraph right here. Most people don't have to think about what their faces mean the way I do. Right away, I noticed the word mean here. Kind of stands out. Like, what does a face mean? Do faces have meaning? I guess I've never thought about faces like that. So that word choice kind of makes me think about faces as symbols. Your face in the mirror reflected back at you. Most people don't even know what it looks like anymore. That thing on the front of your head, you'll never see it. Like you'll never see your own eyeball with your own eyeball. Like you'll never smell what you smell like. But me, I know what my face looks like. So here the author used a bunch of similes to get me to understand, like, yeah, you never really do see your face. You see a reflection of your face, but your reflection of your face is really just a light reflecting off of a mirror back at you, so it's not your face. That's weird to think. Something that you live with every single day, you'll never, ever, ever be able to see. So he goes on to say, my eyes droop like I'm fucked up, like I'm high, and my mouth hangs open all the time. I personally kind of like that quote because it uses words that make me kind of smile and laugh and be like, oh, that's kind of a cool way to put it. I know maybe not everybody would agree. There's too much space between each of the parts of my face. Eyes, nose, mouth spread out like a drunk slapped it on, reaching for another drink. Again, that's a simile that I like because it's, like me picturing a drunk slapping a face on somebody. I think of like Mr. Potato Head in Toy Story where he becomes that burrito thing and it's all twisted and falls apart in the end, right? Like I can picture that because the author uses simile and it's kind of a, to me, a comical comparison, even though being a drunk is not funny. Continues, people look at me, then look away. When I see them, see me. The repetition of see over and over is kind of cool. When they see, I see them, see me. That reminds me of, sometimes if somebody's checking you out and you look over at them, they look away real quick because they know you see that you're staring at them. I've know that feeling. I've done that. I've been on both sides of that. That's the drome 2, my power and curse. So my power and curse is a fragmented sentence that really stands out because of it. And he's saying his drome, which is fetal alcohol syndrome. So the drome is syndrome, is a power because he scares people, but also a curse because, he's kind of fugly. The drome is my mom and why she drank. It's the way history lands on a face. And that's my favorite line right there. It's the way history lands on a face. History lands on a face. So it's saying how messed up his history as a native is, and that if you were to draw a character to represent the history, it's like a symbolic for all the destruction and horror and broken up language and history that they've experienced. And all the ways I made it so far, despite how it has fucked with me since the day I found it there on the TV, staring back at me like a fucking villain. Wow. Again, another simile. So, the day I found it there on the TV, staring back at me, what does that mean? It seems to point to that, Tony Loneman, the character here with the drone, was sitting in front of a TV and it must have turned off because you don't see your reflection in TV unless it's off, because if there's picture, you can't really differentiate your face from it. So he sees it there staring back at him, is almost personifying it to the point where like his drone is looking back at him. Like he said earlier, people don't know what they look like, but he does, and he knows the meaning of it. It means all the alcoholism and all the history of his race, like depicted on his face. So I chose this because it's really powerful. It's also kind of cool tone to it of like, the F words and the, drunk and stuff. Like, I don't know. I could really picture this, and I think it's a really cool way to describe something really sad. And the humor of it kind of like makes people like see it, but it's also really, I don't know. I guess the feeling is kind of, depressing by the end. So yeah, thanks for listening.